This is the new Fantech MAXFIT61. It's the Frost Wireless Edition, so this is basically the updated version of the older MAXFIT61. And we can see right here it has hot-swap functionality, 3 modes of connection, and of course it has RGB lighting. It's still the same 60% form factor, and I do have the red switches right here. On the front it just says MAXFIT61 Frost Wireless, and on the top this is the technical specifications, and it has anti-ghosting for all of the keys, and it only weighs 630 grams. On the back of the box, it basically highlights everything about the keyboard, and you can see right here it says size doesn't matter. Now let's unbox it and see what we get inside. So you do get some paperwork like the warranty card, a message from the CEO, alongside the user manual. And in it you can see the secondary functions on the keyboard, how to switch out the keycaps and switches, and where to get the software for the keyboard. Besides that, you also get a cable which is type A to type C to charge the keyboard or use it wiredly. And you also get a keycap puller, a switch puller, and the 2.4 GHz dongle. And last but not least, you get the keyboard wrapped in plastic. The MAXFIT61 Frost Wireless is a 60% layout, so you guys can see the really small form factor right here, and you can see the black and white color schemes for the keycaps. These are some ABS keycaps. On the front you do have some branding right here. You can see the Fantech logo and the name MAXFIT61 on the bottom right. And on the top left corner is where you get your Type-C connection port, and you guys can see into the case because it's actually transparent and it looks really cool. This is the side profile of the keyboard. You can see the switches and the PCB inside. It looks really cool and clean in my opinion, and with the RGB on it looks even better. And there's nothing much on the back. You can see the 4 non-slip feet right here, the on-off toggle switch, and you can kind of see the battery stuck in the case right here for the wireless functionality. And this is what the keyboard looks like with the RGB turned on. The keycaps on the front are not shine through, so it does illuminate the sides only, and it doesn't shine through all of the legends. And this is the side profile of the case. You guys can kind of see the side LED and the RGB inside shining through. It looks really cool, as I said before. And on the top, the RGB really shines through over here. It looks really awesome. But from the back, you can't really see any of the RGB because of this Poron sheet, or actually foam sheet included behind the PCB. And there are some RGB modes already built into the keyboard, so you can just hold down the function key and the M key to cycle through them. But if you want to customize it more, you also can download the software. You can find the software in the links in the description below or on their website, and it allows you to configure the macros, and you also can customize the function layer alongside with the lighting. And to set up a new macro, you just have to click the add button, and you can do quite a lot with this software. Actually, I like what Fantech is doing. And going back to the keycaps again, these are some OEM profile keycaps, so they are a little bit taller than cherry profile keycaps, and there is no interference with these north facing switches in this keyboard. Overall, they do look really good, and it is made out of ABS plastic, but it does have like a matte texture on it, which I really like. And it is double shot ABS, so this does look really good, and the legends won't fade over time, and they do appear to be pretty sharp. Color wise, it's really good. The black does look really dark, and the white, it looks really clean as well. Overall, these are pretty good keycaps in my opinion, and you guys can see the thickness wise is around 1.5 millimeters. Overall, a good thing from Fantech. Moving on to the switches in this keyboard, I have the red versions right here, and the switches given by Fantech are the Otemu switches. So there's 2 options for you to choose from. You can go for the blue clicky Otemu switches if you like that, and if you don't like that, you want a more silent switch, this is the red linear switches by Otemu. And these switches are pretty cheap. They are made by Otemu, and I think that for this price range it's okay, but these are pretty bad switches, but you can of course change them down the line because it's hot swap. But these switches do have some really good shine through for the RGB, so I like these switches in this kind of keyboard. And if you're wondering about the PCB, it is a hot-swap PCB as said before. It's north facing, so the RGB is on top, and if you're thinking of using cherry profile keycaps, you might have a problem here. But it is 5-pin hot swap, and it does support almost all of the cherry style switches. And moving on to the stabilizers here, I really like these stabilizers. Actually, they're just some normal plate mounted stabs, but they do come factory looped by Fantech, and they've done a really good job here. Overall, it looks like they are looped pretty well, but it does sound pretty good during the typing sound test, so I can't really complain about this. I really like what Fantech is doing here. And if you want to customize it more, opening up the keyboard is pretty easy. There's only 6 screws holding it in place, and after you unscrew them, the plate should lift up and out of the case, and remember to unplug the battery carefully. The whole case has this kind of transparent frost to it and it looks pretty good. And you do get a piece of foam or sound dampener right here. I believe it's actually EVA foam. It's not really thick, but it does help with sound dampening. And underneath the foam is the battery, and it does look pretty nice. Fantech actually designed a sticker for it, and it's a 1900 mAh battery. Moving on to the PCB, this is what the back of the PCB looks like, and you can actually see it's Gateron hot-swap sockets, and for the price I think this is really good already. Sadly, in between the plate and the PCB there is no foam included, so you only get that one foam sheet in the bottom of the case. So far I'm impressed with what this keyboard offers. Now let's move on to the typing sound test and hear how it sounds. So it does sound pretty decent, but it can sound much better with mods in my opinion. For me personally, I think it's a really good keyboard for the price, coming in at only 47 US dollars or around 250 Malaysian ringgit here in Malaysia. You're getting pre-Lubed Stabilisers, double shot ABS, keycaps, a hot-swap PCB and wireless functionality all under 50 US dollars. Plus it does look good in this frost design. I think it looks pretty cool. So if you're interested, links will be in the description below, and thank you so much for Fantech for sending this over for a review. And that does it for this video guys. Leave a like on this video if you liked it, dislike this video if you didn't like it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I have even more reviews and content like this coming really soon. And as always, thanks for watching. Goodbye guys.